An abject failure. That is how the director of DPS described the law enforcement response to the Uvalde school shooting. For 1 hour and 14 minutes, officers waited outside that classroom where a gunman killed 21 people.
Yeah, it's tough to hear. During a 13-hour public hearing, the DPS director says officers had the tools, they had the weapons to take the gunman down 3 minutes after the shooting started. This all comes on the heels of these surveillance images you're looking at, showing officers in the hallway with weapons. They were allegedly waiting for keys to open the classroom door, but DPS says it was actually unlocked the entire time.
These revelations, as you can imagine, tough for people in the community of Uvalde to hear, especially so for the families of the 19 kids and 2 teachers killed inside that classroom. We will hear their reaction in just a moment.
Right now, though, Suzanne Bruner is with us. Suzanne, so much of the fallout over the police response is focused on School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo.
Yeah, it really has. There was actually a passionate plea from family members of victims killed in the school shooting, and they were asking the city council to not give newly elected councilman and the school district police chief Pete Arredondo a leave of absence after he had requested one. It was unanimously denied, and here's that moment.
I make a motion we do not grant the leave of absence for Councilman Arredondo.
You can hear the cheers in that crowd. The council denying his request matters because if he misses more than 3 council meetings, the mayor and other council members can vote to remove him from his seat. They also talked about the state Senate hearing. So Mayor Don McLaughlin visibly frustrated, specifically with Texas DPS Director Steve McCraw, who testified about the failures police made once they arrived at Robb Elementary. So the mayor said McCraw seldom mentioned his own department when talking about failures, pointing out 14 troopers were actually in the hallway that day too.
There's mistakes in this made all the way around. And I've said from day one, at any interview that you've seen me, if we made mistakes, we have to own up to it, and we have to be big boys, and we have to accept it, whether we like it or not, and we will. Yes. And every other agency there is going to have to be in the same deal that we're in.
McCraw did not talk about any other agencies that were there and have an accountability to everyone there as well. The mayor said the city was asked to remain silent as other departments investigate the shooting, but admitted the city has been in the dark all this time, getting no updates from the state, and even suggested, quote, maybe a new headline will be the city of Uvalde suing for information. Mark?
You know, the district has said nobody will be coming back to that school, by the way. No one will be attending Robb Elementary in the future. Have they decided exactly what's going to happen there?
Yeah, so Mark, during last night's city council meeting, the mayor confirmed Robb Elementary School will be demolished. He said you could never ask a child to go back or a teacher to go back to that school ever. So a decision finally made on that.
All right, well, thank you for that update, Suzanne.
You can only imagine just how hard these latest revelations are really hitting the victims' families, who are still even just trying to come to grips with what they've lost and how to move forward.
They didn't want to do anything. They didn't want to do anything, and I just don't understand why that happened and how can you sworn to protect and you just hid behind a wall for 77 minutes.
This morning, the Special Senate Committee will be back in session, this time focusing on mental health and what they call firearm safety. You can follow along with any updates on WFA.com and look for those push alerts by downloading our app.